Good morning, everybody. It's a few minutes after 9. It's the 28th of February. It's a Friday. I said a few minutes after 9, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. So it's early in the morning. I've got classes later today. And since I was somewhere yesterday that had buildings of the truck factory, I thought I would take you by the truck factory. If you see, it says Minsky Autozavod. That's the abbreviation. I'll go show you on this old truck. They have some of their older, probably classic trucks that they had in long serial numbers. In other words, a lot of them made maybe through some of the years, so popular designs. So I'll show it to you when I get over here. So lots of cars parked here from people at work, and of course most of these buildings here, all these ones on the side, it's also their buildings. So that is the symbol, like I said. You can see sometimes movies from Sweden or something, and they'll have trucks and things in there, and they'll have that sign on the front. So that means, for the most part, I believe they're all made in Minsk. I don't know if they have factories outside of Minsk, but that's the deal, baby. Here's the deal, man. Look at, here's some mural over here. I'll come over here and show it to you. I'm going to take a walk, try to go to some place that's a little bit more quiet. You know, draw a little bit less attention. So here's a mural. I think they started right maybe after World War II, right away afterwards. So anyway, looks like I'm going to end up having to walk with a lot of people. I'm going to take the other side of the street. Okay. I think this building over here is probably where they have school. I think they teach people, you know, how to build the trucks, and then when they probably have new trucks, they train other younger people. Maybe the older ones keep with the older ones. I'm just guessing. See a lot of young people, lots and lots of young people around here. So anyhow, so let's get on with the news here. Note on sanctions here. Trump seems to be working with the Russians on a lot of levels, but I guess it was yesterday, he signed the continuation of sanctions against Russia. So I think somebody asked him if he was going to lift the sanctions, and he was saying it depends on the negotiations, but obviously they haven't finished yet. And they started again on Tuesday. Nothing has really been put out, but they're working in Istanbul trying to figure out all sorts of arrangements, you know, relations, embassy staffs and all that. So in any case, the relations between the United States and Russia will be completely normalized again, much like it never happened. You can go back maybe 20 years or something, and however it was, maybe in the Yeltsin time, it's going to be similar to that probably now under Putin and Trump. So that's actually a good thing. They're going to be cooperating in space, Elon Musk and the Russians. So the vast destruction to the US aid program has now exposed that it was a major source of funding to recruit mercenaries for the Ukraine against Russia. So they're also involved in the war, not just other kinds of corruption, not just overthrowing governments simply that way, but they're also recruiting mercenaries. And now I think they're panicking a little bit in Ukraine. I think they're asking for donations, you know. Yeah. And a lot of it, of course, was done in English. You know, that's USAID is probably mostly paying for that part of it. Yes. By the way, I think, you know, they do a lot of this, not USAID. I'm going to say not USAID. There's a different budget, but the United States also pays for all the promotion and whatever it is for Israel when they go online and they try to eliminate all negative news, everything negative about Israel, you know. And also probably this platform that I'm on, when you talk negative things about Israel, you're going to have the algorithms going against you. So you know, you're swimming against the tide, I guess, if you talk bad about Israel. I'll get a little bit more into that too when you we're talking about this Epstein thing. That's pretty striking stuff too. So, like I said, and that's a separate budget. That's not US aid. So everything for Israel, all of the money, the billions and billions that go to Israel every year, a very small country. I'll tell you, I think the population of all of Israel is less than the population of just the city of Kiev, much less. And yet they get this huge, huge amount of money all the time, guaranteed, both parties. Democrat, Republican, very few. You do not go against Israel. Like I said, if you want to know who your masters are, you just find out who you cannot criticize. That's some ominous words. Ominous words. So I guess I was going to go this way. Okay. So there's like, what do I just said? It's an independent budget. And it will never be touched. There's a guaranteed, as you all know, for many, many years, maybe 30 years at least, there's a guaranteed every single year $4 billion that goes to Israel, guaranteed. But the amount is much, much higher than that. There's like a kind of a, even though it's not guaranteed, every year always another $5 billion always goes to Israel. And then there are the supplemental things, you know, say during this time when they're going against Hamas, supposedly, every now and then they inject another $3 billion here, a $2 billion there, $4 billion there. Tremendous, tremendous amounts of money. Much more, I would say. Well, not more than went to Ukraine in such a short period of time. Looks like Ukraine was a big project, and a lot of people say that's not a project. I can't remember what that argument was against not calling it a project. So let's see. Kalin Georgescu, the actual person that won the runoff election in Romania. As you know, I mentioned yesterday, they've arrested him, they put him on house arrest, and I think now he's not necessarily on house arrest anymore. He's running around, but they took his documents, and I believe there was something to do with Andrew Tate. He wasn't maybe anymore, I don't think, on house arrest, sort of house arrest, but I don't know. Maybe they had a bracelet on him so he couldn't get very far. I don't really know. But anyway, now he's in the United States. He's released from all of that. I guess Trump helped out. And what we're probably going to see is Andrew Tate meeting with Trump or meeting with Elon Musk. Probably Elon Musk for sure. Maybe both of them at the same time. And I am guessing maybe it will be put out, maybe it won't be, but they will be probably helping Kalin Georgescu, who was really ripped off by Romania, and so was Andrew Tate. But I guess Romania is acting like a puppet for the EU, and the EU is a puppet of the deep state. So willing puppets. And of course, Georgescu, he's against the stationing of U.S. nuclear weapons in Romania, which they have right now. The U.S. did that. Of course, it's aimed at Russia, and all this stuff has always been aimed at Russia. I think they wanted to even put them in Northern Europe, I think in Poland, and they said, oh, it's against Iran. It's to protect Europe from Iran. You know, it's like, well, why didn't they put it much, 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 much closer to Iran? Why did they put it way up there? You know, but that's BS. As you know, that's always aimed against Russia. Always, always, always. And it has been. They've been against Russia for hundreds of years. I'll get into that too. I always get into that. Okay. But, you know, how it was with Georgescu. He was the victim of the great democracy of the EU. Incredible. Democracy is when the party you don't like wins the vote, then you jail that person. So, without any charges, without any real charges, nothing like that. They just put him in, they make some charges up, and I don't know, was there 4 charges against him? Of course, it's all BS. Just like Andrew Tate, I think there was sex trafficking and all that. Maybe just like Putin, whenever they don't like you, they just can make something up. They look for something that sort of, maybe, kind of, looks like it might be, and then they say that, oh, it certainly is, and then they arrest you for that. You know, or charge you for it. Like gassing your own people. Stuff like that. You know, sometimes they actually do. Remember, like Saddam Hussein, he I guess gassed some village that was on the border of Iran when they had this Iran war, but this poisonous gas was given to Saddam Hussein by the United States. They even have film footage of Donald Rumsfeld visiting over there, visiting Saddam Hussein. And don't forget, remember I was talking, I'll even mention, maybe I'll mention a little bit in this video, I don't know, but I was something, there was some sort of a thing about all this corrupt money and all this money disappearing. And remember back, who was it? It was Donald Rumsfeld, and I think back in 2001, the day before 9/11, he said on videotape the disappearance of, I think it was $3 trillion. The Pentagon just couldn't account for it. They just don't know what happened to that money. Just gone. Oh man, I was going to go through there. Why is there always some kind of people cleaning the streets? Why do they have to clean the streets here? You know? Why do they have to have a thriving industry and everything in Belarus? All these things make too much noise for me. Okay. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Keir Starmer. He finally did make it. He finally did make it to Washington. And he might even still be there when Zelensky comes, you know. I was thinking they're going to gang up on Trump and say, yes, you have to keep the war going. You have to keep sending the weapons. And of course, Keir Starmer was there. And I'll tell you what. He knows that it's not going to be possible. Trump has been putting out over and over and over again, he wants to stop the killing. And he's not for, arming anybody to continue this skirmish against Russia, Ukraine's skirmish against Russia. And Keir Starmer, you know the reason why he went over there? I guess maybe they planned on going over there at some time earlier. And it's just like Macron or any of these people. Zelensky, even more so. They get these meetings going. They're supposed to be showing up. And part of this is, and this is going to sound kind of ludicrous to you, but I promise you that this is the case. I've seen it with my own eyes because I used to work in a sort of hospitality for military people, and picking them up, taking them to hotels, believe it or not, sometimes taking them on tours and even shopping trips, restaurants at night, things like that. And these people go there because they want to go shopping. Their wives want to go shopping. And like, what's her name? Whatever Zelensky's wife's name is. She was like in Paris. She goes to Paris and she has to go at least once a year. Oh, too much friggin' trucks all over the place. I was going to try to duck down here. There's probably trucks down here too. But she has to go at least once a year to go shopping and get jewelry for like, what, hundreds and thousands of dollars, spending huge amounts of money. Zelensky, he's happy with a green t-shirt. Designer, yes, that's a designer, tailored green t-shirt that he wears, but that's probably a lot cheaper than what his wife gets. The jewelry and things like that. But of course, she's suffering like the Ukrainians are suffering. I don't know, what the heck? Where am I going to go without these friggin' trucks everywhere? I was thinking it would be somewhat quiet here. Okay, Keir Starmer. So, as you know, he was there. He's trying to figure out a way to engineer World War III because he doesn't have to fight. He gets a lot of money from the military-industrial complex, and all of his buddies and all the rich people do. Mostly that's what this is all about. Then they can later plunge in, go into Russia, they think, and plunder all the resources to get even more money. So, yeah. What they want to do, of course, is provoke Russia to start World War III, just like what they did in Ukraine anyway. And it's weird because the UK, I think, maybe it's just their ground forces. All they have is 75,000. 75,000, I'll tell you what, there's a lot over there. I probably can't go there without trucks. Duke, you chose the wrong way to go today. Dag nabbit. Well, me get out of here. This thing's making a lot of dust and dirt over here. Let me go on this side of the street. You've already been here, obviously, you see. Why did I choose an industrial area? Oh, look at all the trees they have there. Oh, nice place. I can come back here. Okay, keep going, Dookie boy. Yeah, I think they have 75,000. 75,000 is all in their whole entire ground force. And they were going to send, I think, was it 20,000 to be a partial contingent? France was going to send some. All that to Ukraine as peacekeepers. Peacekeepers, mind you, just peacekeepers, you know. Peacekeepers, and it's exactly what the war started from, is the fact that Russia did not want this. And of course, you know how this will continue. And Russia said, if they go there, they're going to get bombed. You know, any of these things. And of course, that's exactly what Keir Starmer wants. And all of them, that's exactly what they all want. They want Russia to attack so that they can get the war going. Some other noise over there. I was here quite a while ago, and looks like something else happened here. Now they have somebody, I guess, decided to use some of this property over there. They put a big wall. Maybe it was Donald Trump. I guess Donald Trump probably put this big wall over here. Keep the Mexicans over there. I don't know. Well, maybe it'll be quiet here. A little bit. There were more trees and everything here too. So whatever this is, they turned this into some area they're going to use. It was a field. Went quite a ways over there. And some drunks used to come around here, sit around here in the summertime drinking and peeing and pooping and whatever the heck they all do out here in vacant lots. I think I saw some guy taking a dump over there when I was here a year or so ago. So that's why I know this stuff. My crystal ball didn't have to tell me about that one. So, okay. Yes. I was thinking, you know, originally, I think these people, they have these phases and these steps. And, you know, originally, the whole idea was to take Belarus. And then it was supposed to be Ukraine. But Lukashenko stopped them from doing that. So then they said, well, let's see how we can do this, where we start at phase 2 and do it before phase 1. And then, of course, they tried to assassinate Lukashenko, I think sometime after that. It was on the May 9th. Of course, May 9th is now rolling up here. And they wanted to assassinate him and his whole family. And that was exposed because they have recordings of that, the people doing it. And of course it's the West. Victoria Nuland knows about it, and she even said, you know, when it was not successful, she said, we're going to continue trying to overthrow the government of Belarus. She said that. You can find it on videotape. So you don't think I'm just making this stuff up. You know Vicky Nuland. Good old Vicky Nuland. She's the midwife of the Maidan. She's the one that midwifed the overthrow of Yanukovych and started this whole thing, the whole thing that's going on with Ukraine. Jeez. Great people, great people. And, you know, like I remember telling you, she was working with George Soros, and they had offices on the same floor in Kiev, by the way, and they probably shared bathrooms, and maybe they have some transgenders going to the women's bathrooms and discussing things. Maybe Victoria Nuland, sitting next to George Soros and then having their discussions. You know how that is. Okay, but yeah, I was thinking that it was like a part of this one would be, you know, what they were doing now. They, you know, if it didn't work to that Russia wasn't going to play dead, and that they get to take all of Ukraine and then start moving to other directions. And then, of course, it would be much easier to go into Belarus then. So said, oh, we have this, and just right up north, huge border between Belarus and Ukraine. We can just go in and take over from that way. And Poland wants to take over. They want Western Belarus. It's not, you know, everybody talks, oh, they want Western Ukraine. They want Western Ukraine, which maybe they certainly do, but they also want Western Belarus. They were offering free passports to all the people in the at least the Brest Oblast. I'm not sure about the Grodno Oblast, but I know for a fact, 100%, I heard from people, I know that, and you know, that were free passports for people that lived in the Brest region of Belarus, free Polish passports. And they've even made it known that they want to take Kaliningrad, which is the enclave, it's up north, and you know, the Suwalki corridor, and they say Lukashenko wants to attack, so they put a whole bunch of military there. And of course they did Lukashenko was one time visiting the military in that region, somewhere over there, and he was just telling people, you know, if they get an attack, then we will, you know, hit them or something. And of course they selectively edited it, and they left out the part if they attack, so it made it look like Lukashenko was wanting to attack Poland and Lithuania or something. That's how they do things here. Pretty tricky. Voice of America, you know, Radio Free Europe. All of this was USAID stuff anyway. I can't remember what was it. I just even reported it and I forgot. I think it was 20 million they put into doing that, or 40 million for all that misinformation. Yeah. Okay, I was saying that like step 2 would be, you know, for neutralizing Russia. But they stopped. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Phase 1, and you know, the breakaway republics, they were supposed to probably take over those first, and then maybe at step 3 was to be take over other parts of Russia, and maybe even, who knows, maybe they're going to continue this. I kind of think they are, to be honest with you. This isn't going to stop. They've been after, you know, neutralizing Russia for hundreds of years, and I don't think they're going to stop. Maybe it'll calm down for a while, maybe it'll go for 2 decades, and they're going to again be trying to get Russia, you know. I don't know why that is, you know. They think it's maybe easy pickings. Of course they want resources, but back in 1600, when they still, you know, they were even dreaming about, there was some battles then too. They didn't know anything about resources then. Bring Russia to its knees. It'll always be the plan. And Crimea, a lot of them always wanted Crimea. And like I said, I remember, I've said this many times, you know, that the United States, they have told me this, high-ranking officers and their staff people have told me that they wanted to kick Russia out of the Crimea. That was a big dream of the United States. These are people that went to military strategy schools in West Point and all that. And obviously, as Clinton and Bush, they started taking over all of these former Warsaw Pact countries. Obviously, the dream was then not just to kick Russia out of the Crimea, but to take the Crimea. You know, you even heard Boris Johnson saying that. Jeffrey Sachs said it, and I don't know, like I said, a lot of military analysts have not talked about it, which is very, very obvious. You know, it's not like my crystal ball had to even tell me that. And Trump is realizing he really wants these rare earth minerals, so he's been really going after that. And it's apparently what happened, you know, with his sanctions against China. China did their own sanctions, and I remember even hearing this. This was not long ago. So they stopped sending rare earth minerals to the United States, and it's apparently really hurting the United States. A lot of this stuff is used for like turbines and maybe in computers and AI and wind, I don't know. Not necessarily wind turbines, because a lot of that stuff is kind of slowing down, but they need it. They need it for a lot of high-tech things, and Trump is really, really out to get this stuff. And a lot of this stuff comes from China, and the strange thing is that China is virtually the only place on planet Earth that knows how to process these rare earth minerals. So even if they get it from Russia, and I guess Russia has even more than Ukraine, I'm hearing now, including lots of aluminum. The United States needs a lot of aluminum, but a lot of those rare earth minerals, the United States cannot process them, and Russia can't process them either. Virtually only China has been able to do this, and I guess they took lots of years of R&D, research and development to get a lot of these, the useful elements, I guess, out of these rare earth elements, and like 25 years. So the US has a lot of catching up to do. And I'll tell you what, the only way, maybe possibly, Russia has already maybe made a deal with China ahead of time. Maybe you'll find out I'm right about this, I'm just guessing, that they're going to give Russia the technology to process these rare earth minerals. So that's very possible. And sure, Russia's making a deal with Trump, but guess what? They're going to get the product, and it's going to be developed in Russia, and there will be a price. So of course it'll be a much, much, much fairer price than they could get anywhere else. And of course, if they continue with sanctions with China, I'm just guessing. Let's see what happens. Okay. And you remember when Putin, he rescued like a few hundred children that were in war zones in Ukraine, you know, because, well, you know, to save their life from that, as well as other things, and we'll get into that. But it turns out that Joe Biden, he has been doing this, a lot of children trafficking. And there's I think it's a Republican, Josh Hawley, Senator Josh Hawley, has been exposing lately that Joe Biden has massive trafficking in children. We're not talking about like 100 or 200 here. We're talking of over 500,000 children just to the United States alone. And there was a lot more trafficking besides that. And you don't hear about this. I've talked about things like this in other videos, and most people don't. One reason why is because it's very unappetizing, I guess you would say. I don't know, it's very disgusting to hear about some of the things that, you know, like trafficking in children at all. But the trafficking, it's even much worse than you can ever imagine what they are doing with children when they're trafficking. And I don't even want to talk about it because it's very sickening. You know, when Pam Bondi, Attorney General, she said something about how sick it is that what Epstein was doing with young girls and all that. Well, this is much sicker. This is much sicker than that. I don't know and what Pam Bondi has found out. And these files, she released a lot of these files, not all of them. She said it was phase 1, but who knows if there is even going to be a phase 2. A lot of people are saying there may not be. But these files, strangely enough, the files were given to pro-Israel people. All of the people that got the files were all basically known Zionist reporters, pro-Israel. So, like I told you yesterday, my crystal ball was telling me, it was like, oh, it was messaging me that somehow Israel is not going to be tied to Epstein, or it's going to be ameliorated. So it's not going to become known as bad as whatever it was. And Epstein, you know, and all of these Mossad ties, and I don't know. I guess you can find out a lot of the truth anyway on your own. Yes. Let's see, 500,000, and I think this way over a million children. You know, they've gone to other places and they've done things in Ukraine with them, and what they do with women. You know, they have breeding women. They have them in basements in some places, and they're there for breeding. I'll tell you that part. Then there's whistleblowers, hundreds of whistleblowers. Believe it or not, hundreds of whistleblowers about all of this sort of thing. But you don't hear anything about this. Wow, it's incredible. That's all I'll say about that anyhow. So, and I was mentioning yesterday, you know, Zelensky was saying, you know, Russian had these tapes of him. I don't know if it was like secret video things. And he said, yes, I'm invited to Washington. He was kind of given some sort of a message that maybe he wasn't going to go. He didn't say he was, and he didn't say he wasn't. Well, it turns out he is. They have him getting on the airplane. He might be in Washington right now. He's sleeping probably at this moment in his beauty sleep. And but he's going to sign, I guess. It's been put out by the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States that everything has been cleared, and he's just going to go there and sign it, and with Trump. And Trump said he didn't give any security guarantees because the presence of the United States being there is going to be a security guarantee in and of itself. So, and it makes you wonder how it's going to be used. I'm wondering if they're going to use this security guarantee in such a way that, you know, you can, like, they'll put their troops there, they'll put certain weapons in areas where, you know, America maybe will have their people that are there to get the rare earth mineral minerals or not. That's provided that the war continues and it doesn't get ended. And you never know. You never know. Is it going to keep going or not? And if you remember, well, maybe you don't know, but after World War II, a lot of the war was actually continuing. They had this, I don't know if you call it a secret war, that was the Banderites, and there were the offshoots of the Banderites I've mentioned. And they were still doing operations within the Soviet Union. They were doing assassinations and sabotage, sort of like what they're doing already now anyway. The Ukraine, matter of fact, it was even run through the Ukraine back then, you know. And it was, anyway, they would go through the Ukraine, they'd set off bombs and things and assassinate people and, you know, having a lot of fun that way. And that's what they're doing right now in Russia. You know, but they pay off a lot of Russians. They get these people that are maybe disgruntled, or they promise them money. They look for people that are really down on their luck, needing money, maybe drug addicts. They might even get them to become drug addicts, you know, and then promise them some, you know, drugs and money and things like that. You know, that's often how it works. You know, that's what they a lot of time do with women. You know, I'll tell you what, even, should I even say this, even in Israel, they get these women from other countries, and a lot of them are addicted. And anyway, say no more, say no more. What else do I want to say here? Okay, Kash Patel from the FBI. And I was saying, in my opinion, that we have like a revolution. I was calling it a truth revolution. And I'm telling you, it's Kash Patel was actually saying that on his own. He was saying that the days of, what was his words? Here, let me see. We said it's the FBI is entering a new era. That was his words, a new era. He didn't say truth revolution, that's my words. He said no more cover-ups. And I think maybe Trump didn't really like it that he was the victim, you know, of, say, this Hunter Biden laptop thing. And I'll tell you what, they really, really, truly thwarted democracy with that. They were doing everything to get Joe Biden in. I even have some news about Joe Biden, and I'll put that at the end of some really interesting stuff. It's actually revealing, you could say breaking news, kind of, in a way. I don't know, it's just informative. Yes. But you know that they've done so well, and they do it, it's even works in Belarus, I'm telling you this. You know, they've done so well at indoctrinating and brainwashing people that if you try to tell people the truth, you guys know this yourself. That's why you can't spread the word around, because if you're telling people and you even show them the evidence, they'll run as fast as they can in the opposite direction. You know, this fake news and all this brainwashing that people have gone through, it creates a paradigm belief for everybody. And you think anything that comes into your, you know, somebody says to you, they can slap you in the face with it, and anything, I hear somebody walking, anything that goes against, you know, or contradicts what you already know, the paradigm that you've already created, you completely reject it, and it's fake. You're living in, I mean, those, I'm not talking to you guys, but other people, they're living in a matrix, you know. Oh, I know the steak I'm eating is not real, but, you know, I don't want to go out of the matrix. It's so enjoyable, you know, and that's how it is with them. Oh, the government, everything runs smoothly. There is no corruption, things like that. But it's really strange. There's like I said, a truth revolution, and there's going to be things where things go wrong in the Trump administration, and maybe they're going to sugarcoat it or whatever as well. So it's not actually going to work perfectly. Never really ever did, but we'll see how that works out here. Yes. Yeah. What I was going to say, maybe I talked about that. Yes. It was about Trump's cover-up. Trump going to have people there, and the presence of the United States was supposed to be something like what is it called? Assurance enough that nothing's going to happen, but I don't know. I don't know. That's part of the paradigm world as well. Oh, Russia, they're so evil, and they're going to come and get you. Putin is going to come in with his bare hands. They said that, by the way. I think when those people, I think it was that airplane that was flying over the Donbass that Ukraine shot down, by the way, and they tried to blame it, and they still blame it on Russia. But you know, the black box, the British have that. They won't release it to anyone. Oh, that's a big secret. Who knows when, if and when that's ever going to come out, because it proves that Ukraine is the one that shot down that airplane. The pilot even admitted it. He got out of his plane and said, I think we shot the wrong plane. They were trying to shoot down Putin's plane, which, when you find out, had the same markings, very same markings as this Malaysian airliner. Oh, here I'm by all the noisy trucks again. Oh man, trying to get home. Reminds me of that Elvis Presley song, I'm a seaman mixer, baby. So, I'm a steamroller, baby. Most of you probably don't know that song. Okay. Yes. So, like I said, I don't know. I don't know if Starmer is going to be able to get some troops in there, but I'll tell you, if they do, they're going to put them in the area where the U.S. is. So if Russia dares to bomb them, blah, 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 I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen. You never know. Maybe they'll work something out to where they have UK troops there. You know, the mighty UK troops. Donald Trump said that, and he knows they're not. Yeah. Okay, another truck. Oh, and another truck behind that one. Nothing but trucks. Makes you wonder what they're doing here. Okay. So now, maybe I can get into the good stuff without these damn trucks here coming by here. Oh, they even have a dog in there, a doghouse. Maybe I'll show it to you. I don't know if they mind. I don't think it's top secret. You see a doggy house there. I don't see. Oh, there's a bowl way out there, but don't see the dog. Probably if you try to go in there, maybe you'll be greeted by the dog. Maybe you won't get greeted the way you want to get greeted, but you'll get greeted by the dog. Okay, the news I wanted to put out about Joe Biden, it is about Joe Biden. Jill Biden's ex-press secretary came out and said that they knew about the decline of Joe Biden. As a matter of fact, they knew about it at the very beginning, right after the election. In other words, they knew they were putting in a crazy guy. This guy with dementia. I mean, everybody was talking about it before the election, that he was not right, that he had problems. Trump was talking about it. Remember the debates? And they were, so forget about that. But anyway, he's come out and he said that the mental decline, they were scared to death. That was his word, scared to death of what he would, not what he would say and do. Those are my words, but they were scared to death and of anything that was unrehearsed or whatever. So they had to rehearse with him, and anything that was impromptu, they were worried about what's going to come out of his mouth. And you remember, there was film footage. You know, you have Biden up there talking away, saying something at a press conference or whatever, and then Blinken puts his hands in his head, and because Biden said something wrong. I don't remember what it was, but that was how it is. Anyway, this guy's name is Michael La Rosa. If you want to maybe look him up, maybe look up and you'll maybe find the tape. Yes. And the only other thing I've already said, I was talking about that the people that got the whatever evidence was already linked or put out about the Epstein files, and mostly it was just the flight logs of who was going there. Everybody knows old Billy Boy Clinton was going there. Old Billy, the software engineer, he made some trips there, and his divorce with Melinda Gates had something to do with all of that as well. We all know that. What? I have no idea. But yeah, anyway, I don't think I have anything else. Anything I can recall that I might have remembered. Not at this moment. But who knows? We'll see something today. I'm sure that Zelensky will probably sign this paper somewhat early, so by the time you guys on the West Coast wake up, it'll probably be a done deal already. And what it means, who knows? Is it going to be the end of the war? I don't know. Things are progressing in Istanbul between Russia and the United States, and arranging diplomatic relations and everything else. So it looks like that actually looks good. It looks good. And I don't know. We should all be happy about that truth revolution. So right now, things are much better than they were 2 or 3 months ago. So I guess it's a positive look on the world, and hopefully it's not the calm before the storm. So, okay then. I guess that's about all I have to say now. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, bye-bye.